Homecoming. With the Downer brothers. Move it.
You want a bunch of real estate in the city, what you gon' do? Call the Downer brothers and I guarantee they got you. Real estate business, listen, let's get it.
Real estate.
Real estate business, listen, let's get it.
Listen.
This episode is sponsored by Jared Greer with Guaranteed Rate. Whether you are looking to buy your first home or renovate your current home, go to rate.com/Jared Greer today.
Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Restrictions apply. NMLS ID 301746. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. This is Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. My name is Anthony.
My name is Anton.
And who do we have today?
Today, we have CJ Rose,
Go ahead.
Senior Director
That's right.
of Strategic Growth
And
Acquisition.
That's right.
That's right.
Man, what a title you have.
Yes, I do.
CJ, welcome to Homecoming with the Downer Brothers, man. We are so happy to have you. It's a long time coming. It's been a while.
It really has.
But it's worth the wait because since we've met you and you helped us to develop this relationship with Guaranteed Rate, a lot has happened.
Yes.
A lot has happened.
Yeah.
So now, when this episode airs, people will see the commercial out and some other content that we've created around the work that we have been doing to create financial literacy in our community, and a lot of that has been because of your help. So thank you.
I appreciate that. But the biggest thing is you guys are already doing the right things. It's some of it. Sometimes it's just getting the right vessel to work on, and have the right vessel to use in the process. And when we first met, I remember Jared introduced me to you guys. The first time was a little over 2 years ago, right?
Right.
So when I met you guys, I was like 5 seconds after it, I tapped Jared. I said, "Dude, those guys are dynamic." I said, you get some good people in this world, but there's a lot of people that that don't impress you like within the first few seconds, and you guys did from day one. So it's more than a pleasure to get a chance to be on your show.
Man, that's humbling to hear, man.
Thank you, man. And I've always wanted you to be on the show because when I think about strategic growth and acquisitions, I think about just the rapid expansion of Guaranteed Rate at least in my mind, over the past decade.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, we've grown a lot. I mean, I'll just talk about the last 2 years. I mean, 2019, we produced as a whole company $39 billion in sales.
39 billion.
Yes, 39 billion in sales, and then we went from 2019 to going into the end of 2020. This last year, even during the pandemic and all the craziness of last year, we closed 75 billion as a company, and then I think we acquired a company at the end of the year, Stearns Lending, and that they gave us another 19 billion. So we're right around 93 billion as a company now. So
these are not small numbers, ladies and gentlemen.
What? I'm trying to wrap my head around 93 billion. What does it mean to acquire that kind of wealth, and what is Guaranteed Rate doing when they acquire a company that brings in that wealth? What does that allow them, Guaranteed Rate to do?
The great thing about it is that a lot of companies will, and I shouldn't say a lot of companies, the other companies I've seen that have acquired, brought over companies and acquired either top producers, top groups, or the company itself. They've been in situations where they've run into bringing them over, and those producers stay at a certain number, or they only go up they grow maybe 5%. We're not looking for that. We're trying to help companies that are doing 10, 15, or more, even less than that, a billion in volume, and helping them double and triple their volume with their production teams, just by adding the different aspects of our platform to help them, and it's integrated in everything. So you see processing, you see the back room when it comes to how operations are happening for closings and all that. All that stuff's happening, but it's happening at a higher scale because our expectations move a lot faster than most companies, as you could see with the different things that we have going on all across the country. I mean, you see the commercials, you see all those different things, but we believe the more touches, the more opportunities we put out there, the more opportunities we're going to have come back to us.
All right. So before we dive deeper, because I got some specific community questions I want to ask.
Okay.
This is Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. So we want to know, where is home? Where are you from?
Originally from Clinton, Iowa. Small town just north of the Quad Cities, probably 20 minutes north of the Quad Cities in Iowa. grew up there. Youngest of 4 kids. Parents, blue collar parents, worked hard. Expected us kids to not only do the right things, make the right choices, but give us a really good foundation for character, and how we operate on a daily basis. So that was one of the things I gotta say. I gotta love my parents for that, because it does make an impact in my life every day, and not even just being a parent of 3 kids myself, but also the people I operate with on a daily basis.
Right.
So shout out to the Rose family. Hey, you all built a Goliath over here. This
So where did that journey take you? How did you end up? What was the next step after you left Iowa?
Yeah, went to Clinton High School. Graduated there. Went on, had a full ride scholarship to Northern Illinois here to play football. Played there for 4 years. Had a lot of success. Went on and played a couple years in Canada. A year of arena football. Went to camp with a couple pro teams and everything. But just didn't pan out, the way, the young mind was like, I'd love to have been, the NFL, but it didn't pan out that way. So went back, finished up what I needed to finish up with school, and focused on what I needed to focus on with trying to build out my career. And, it sounds kind of funny. I started a little bit later than most, because I had a lot of friends that I went to school with that started, right as soon as they came out of college. They were already working in the business world. Me, I didn't even start in the business world until I was like 26 or 27 years old. And I'm going from meetings of watching film, football players doing, coverages and everything else, to going and getting in front of a computer and learning how to talk to people on the phone and all those different things. So it was a shock to the system, but going back to the foundation that I grew up on, not a believer of failure, believer of a person that, I learned through my failures, no different than Michael Jordan always says, it's not a loss. It's a learning process. So, but yeah, that's my mentality. So whenever I got knocked down, had frustration or anything like that, and as my dad always just said, dust it off and get back up. Let's go. So.
All right. So you have a long title. Can you say that title one more time?
Yes. It's Senior Director of Strategic Growth and Acquisitions.
For Guarantee Rate?
Yes, for Guarantee Rate.
So what does that mean? What do you do?
There's a lot of things that I'm responsible for. A lot of my marching orders come directly from senior leadership, guys like John Elias and Victor Tardelli, who is our president and CEO, over all the GR companies. I've been working recently with both sides of the company. We have a Guarantee Rate Affinity side that's connected with our Caldwell relationship nationally. I've been working with some of the leaders over there, like Dave Dickey and everything. He runs that whole division.
Wait, what does that company do? Because there's a lot of people who don't know.
Yes. No. It's a corporate relationship between we have a corporate relationship with Realogy, and they have ownership over Caldwell Banker and a couple other entities.
Okay, that's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, so exactly. So they have the ownership, and that's our partnership with them. We have pretty much 50-50 partnership with them.
And that's for home financing.
Yeah, home financing. Okay. It's just the structure is a little bit different because we align producers to be able to work directly with these agents in these offices and everything. So and on the other end we have the GRI side, which is the side like Jared and other teams that we all know. They are in a situation where they build out their relationships. They solidify those relationships themselves without having any assistance by the company. Okay. So.
All right. So
that's a lot.
Yeah. All right. So with this super long title that you have.
Yes.
The only word that stuck out for me is acquisitions.
Okay.
Let me.
Is it time for Anton's definition today?
I think it is.
Right.
It's time for Anton's definition of the day.
The definition of the day is acquisition. An acquisition is when one company purchases most of or all of another company shares to gain control of the company. Purchasing more than 50% of the target firm's stock and other assets allows the acquirer to make decisions about the newly acquired assets without the approval of the company's other shareholders. Acquisition. So in talking about acquisitions, it comes right back to you, because acquiring other mortgage companies, top producers just like imagine by headhunting the best more loan officers
Yeah.
and bringing them into guaranteed rate has really grown the company by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing is I've been with the company. It'll be in June, 16 years. The company's 21 years or getting ready to be 21 years old.
Right.
And the crazy thing is when I started here, I think we were a little over $1 billion. We were like a 1.3 billion in volume when I first started here. And, we've grown a lot, in these years. And the big part of it is Victor's message to all the leaders out in the field that we recruit, we find talent, and we want, to develop them, bring them over and help them grow and expand their business plan. Not only just expanding that, but also putting them in a situation where they're able to have scalability, meaning they have the ability to take their business from where they're at right now, and a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, it's continuously growing. You're always building out that master plan to keep growing. No different than what you guys do on a daily basis.
Right.
No different than what I try to do on a daily basis.
All right.
That's deep.
So-
'Cause, like when we're filming our show out in LA,
Yeah.
I just did a Google search and I saw like all of these branches, like, cause LA is a lot bigger than Chicago,
Yeah.
and I could see them like above North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, like it's just like all over the place.
Yeah.
And it speaks to what you all are doing to make sure that everyone has access to guaranteed rate and the different type of products.
Yeah, because there's all different needs. I mean, you have clients coming from all different parts and backgrounds and everything else in this world. So people who are brand new to the whole financial structure, meaning that they have no background, no knowledge, the financial literacy or anything.
Might be
like
the
that.
first in their family to buy a home.
First one to buy a home,
Right.
maybe the first one to even have an opportunity to have enough money to look at purchasing a home.
Right.
That's the crazy thing is because people are like, oh, you're the first one to buy a home, but still start at the beginning. Have you saved enough to be able to put money down? Have you placed yourself and your family in a situation to be able to do those things and think about it? I mean, and you know this. We've talked about this before.
Right.
There are so many people, specifically in our community, that have never purchased a home, still renting. They're generational renters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these are the things that, as a company, I think on a large scale, Guarantee Rate's doing their best right now to try to develop those relationships in the community so people understand there are opportunities out there, and we're trying to put the education out there. We're in process of doing
That's the
these
key.
things.
Now, and I want to say one thing that I noticed that was so different about LA's real estate market from Chicago is that everything is not only is it more expensive, but it's almost as though they're running out of real estate some kind of way. But what's that product that they use where they're building in the backyard?
An ADU.
Yeah, ADU. And it's like a whole nother opportunity to
Build additional income, build additional real estate on
Right.
the property. So basically, what they're doing is they're converting garages into apartments, or if the backyard is just big, the city of LA has passed some kind of
it's like a new ordinance.
a new ordinance that allows them to build a 1 or a 2 unit apartment in their backyard. So now, if they do a cash out refinance, they can take that money to then build new construction on their own property and then rent that out. Now that property is paying the entire mortgage, and now that family is financially free.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
And the mortgages are high out there, but also at the same time, there are tons of renters out there. Tons of people who want to rent and can't
Always.
can't afford to pay, for a 2-bedroom that's almost $1 million. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. But yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. So can you give us like a little history lesson about? Now we're going to go back to Chicago now. The opening that branch in Bronzeville.
Yeah.
So what was Guarantee Rate? Because you must have been at the table talking about let's do a brick and mortar in Bronzeville, historically black neighborhood on the south side of Chicago.
To be honest, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been dealing with a lot of top producers and acquisitions and everything else across the board for the company. Gentleman that's on the other side of this camera right now tapped me on my shoulder and said, I want you to take a look at something, CJ. He goes, I know you get pulled in all the different directions, but there's something that we're not doing here at Guaranteed Rate yet. And he goes, we haven't been able to, we're not servicing, these different communities. And he I said, what do you want to do? He's like, can I drive you around? And I said, let's do something. I cleared my schedule for the next day. And I think I think we drove for about 3 or 4 hours. Drove around different areas. He showed me different developments that are happening, all these different things. He's like, we got to get a place down here. There's no other mortgage companies that are down here that have a brick and mortar. There's banks in the neighborhoods and everything else, but they're really not giving loans. They're having people apply, but they're really not giving the loans.
Right.
But we went there. We drove around, and I said, "Give me till tomorrow." I called Victor, our CEO, that night, and I said, "I got a quick question. Do we have anything any plans of putting the office down on the south side? Because there's tons of opportunity down there." And there's so many new things that are going up and everything else that's brand new, rebuilds, all these different things, renovations and everything else. And he's like, no, he goes, but I like what you're talking about. So we dug into it a little bit deeper. I called Jared that early that next morning and told him, I said, hey, we got to make something happen here, man. So we talked. We came to corporate about a week later, ran into Victor and started talking to him about some of the things. And Victor just said, as you know, CJ, I'm not going to let you, have you slow down. If you see something, go after it. He goes, whatever you need, let me know. And we start building it from there. And Jared built it out with his team. He's got, I think, 10 LOs now that are producing with him on his team out there.
Okay. Loan officers.
Yes, I'm sorry. Loan officers
right.
that are out there, and he's got some really good things happening. I mean, he's got some guys on his team that are going to be hitting some very strong numbers this year and stuff. So he's
from a data standpoint, I guess I don't know how many years has that branch been open.
3 years now.
3 years?
Almost 3 years.
So I would guess, and I'm not asking for specific numbers, but I guess my estimation would be in the last 3 years, the data would prove that was a great move for the company, because the company is about making money, right? I mean, that's what businesses are for, to make money. In the process of making money at that branch, I'm sure the African Americans were serviced at a larger amount with guarantee rate than maybe
way larger
any other bank that's in that zip code.
Yes, but also think about this too. Jared and I are connected with an organization that's internal here at Guarantee Rate called LEAD. It's Leadership, Equality, and Development. And the big part of it, what we're doing is everything from financial literacy, getting into the communities and doing more active work in the communities to make sure that these communities are being serviced. Doesn't matter, but we're looking at diverse communities to really support them in a big way, because we know there's growth there and there's opportunities there. And Jared, we're literally championing the process with putting the office there has been phenomenal. But as I talked to you guys about earlier, scalability. So we're not just stuck at this number or this amount of growth. We see where we're at and we see what we're missing out on, and then we start building our way to that point. And that's what we're doing right now. And we have a very substantial group of people that are around this growth, not only just for the south side, but the west side, and throughout the rest of Chicago too, because there are communities that have not been impacted, in our opinion, the right way by Guaranteed Rate, and we want to change that narrative.
Right. So, and the way to do it, at least our experience of the way to do it, is we do, at least before COVID, in-person seminars where people get to pull up, 100, 200, 1,000 people get to come to an event, and it's free, and we tell them the process. Right. This is the paperwork that you need. You need the bank account. You need your taxes. You need your credit score. You need to have so much money saved up. Here are the different programs, FHA, you got the VA, USDA. There's all these different programs that you can do to 3.5% down, 0% down. And I see the light bulbs go off where people are like, no one has ever told them this is what you need to do and this is what's available to you.
Right.
And that's when the very first time we did a seminar, I was like, we have to do this for as many people as possible, because that's how we change the narrative in our community.
Yes.
Well, and what's amazing is that there are a lot of high earners that just didn't try to buy any property. living in a condo downtown because it seemed like a daunting task when it wasn't really that difficult.
No.
No, you mean a luxury apartment when they could have bought a condo.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, honestly, through the social and economic spectrum,
Yeah.
there are high earners just like there are low earners,
That just
both
don't
who
know.
lack education in the process of
Big time.
home ownership.
Right.
And when we go beyond home ownership into real estate investment, where we say, okay, now you can start off by buying this 3 or 4 unit property, and then your girlfriend who becomes your wife, she can get a 3-4 unit property. Now you both have these cash flowing properties. Now you put that income together with your jobs. You got 4 incomes instead of just 1 or 2 to be able to go get the dream house.
That
You
you
know,
want.
and you can use one bank. Guarantee rate can get you through
Through
all of those.
process.
Through that entire process, all the way to the dream house. You just have to have a plan.
Yeah, and at the same time, have the plan. But if you don't have the plan, let us find a way to educate you and help you through the process.
Right.
And that's really what it
yeah.
comes down to, because we have, I mean, you could just go to rate.com and find out tons of information to work on your first steps of moving into the home ownership. So,
Right.
I love the fact that it's so short, just rate.com.
Yeah.
Because when you think of guaranteed rate, you're like, man, how do you
How you
spell
spell
guaranteed?
exactly.
Y'all just got rate.com. Boom.
Yeah.
Let's get this house.
No, it's true. I gotta applaud. I gotta applaud Victor on that, because when he made the change over, because understand I was with Guarantee Rate back when it was CJ Rose at guaranteerate.com.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then like when you're trying to explain to somebody, like over the phone, here's my email, and it's like, okay, now it's just cj.rose at rate.com. So I hear you on that.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like it's important for Black people to have representation. Representation on TV with the show that we're doing, on commercials, in schools, as professors, as teachers,
Right.
and in when we talk about our financial institutions, if we're not sitting in those seats and having these conversations, who's introducing the idea to do these types of things?
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you have a seat at the table, brother.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But understand this: I'm trying to put more seats at the table. That's my goal, is to try to find more and more people, and there's other people involved in this process too, is to bring more and more, not only just African Americans, but Asian, Hispanic people into this industry, because it's we're at all of us at all these diverse markets are all at a small percentage in this industry, and honestly, the one thing that we're addressing, as leaders, with Guarantee Rate, we're addressing this on the front end, and how we're hiring, who we're looking for, what different markets can we impact right away.
Right.
And there's no better feeling in the world when you have your leader that's running everything saying and holding your management accountable to make sure that these things and these numbers are being hit to get to where they want to go. Because his mind, he's the visionary. He's thinking 5 years ahead, 15 years ahead. He's not thinking about exactly that one minute moment, but he knows what needs to be done in that minute moment for you and me to be able to help people get into this industry. And we have everything from pretty much Morgage 101 process to learn the industry and come out of college and work your way through to producers who are already in the industry that just need a better environment, better place, and then it goes from there. So
All right. So we got this thing called a dream plan execute moment. Is there a project or a process that you're proud of that you've done in your position? Just tell us about it. Like why did it make you proud?
I could be honest with you, man. I'm proud to be able to work for a company like this that's thinking the way that they're thinking. In this day and age, and the social unrest and everything else that's going on, you have a CEO of a company that's stepping out of the line and saying, I'm gonna change the narrative. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm not gonna do it how everybody else in this industry is doing it. And that's let's start there. But the other part of it too, you're talking about dream plan, execute. I'm dealing with this on a daily basis, every single day, and it's every minute of every day, from whatever project I'm working on to how I'm trying to bring over the next acquisition, acquire the next top producer, all of it.
I feel that, man. When I see you, just those impassioned conversations lets me know that this is happening every day.
Yes.
because it's an everyday grind.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that I'm not trying to sound crazy. It keeps me up at night and it wakes me up early in the morning. So there's times that I'll go short on sleep, but it's just something that's always there because I know that there's so many opportunities out there for change and so many opportunities for are these communities I mentioned. It puts us with an opportunity of growth in every aspect, no matter if it's economic growth, if it's home ownership, if it's anything, but there's great opportunities in this industry, and it's a shame because all of us, we've gone to college and everything.
Right.
You tell me what class was taught about mortgages, was taught about the industry.
None. Zip zero.
I mean, you get taught to be an employee, but they don't teach you about home ownership or credit or any of the other kind of stuff.
Exactly. And so when you're hearing, I've heard this from hundreds and hundreds of people in all different backgrounds. And, I fell into this industry. I was doing this and I end up hearing about this and I didn't know anything about it. It shouldn't be that way. It should be about, this message should be out there, really, for the future. Because, like I told you, I have 3 kids myself, 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 19-year-old. And they've changed my whole mindset when it comes to how I can make their future better. So if I'm affecting you guys on a daily basis in a positive way, you're talking about dream, plan, and execute. If I'm affecting you guys on a positive process every single day and everything that we're doing, no matter who I'm working with, I know that's going to come back to me double-fold or triple-fold with my own family. So I'm going to do the things right the first time, all the time, to make it easier on everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right. Let me ask you this. When you hear the word homecoming, what does that mean to you?
Gathering of family and friends. It's this last year has been very tough on a lot of people, especially parents that are used to seeing their kids and their grandkids and everything, and especially my parents, because my mom, she was calling me almost every day, 2-3 times a day. I love her to death. She was letting me know. My dad's like, just let her be. She knows she just needs to talk with you guys. So, but no, for that situation, it's been tough. And both sides of my family, white side of the family and my parents' side, everybody's close. So it was really tough because we're usually having events. I tell you this, I haven't seen my parents face to face since Christmas 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. So because my goal was to keep them safe during this pandemic, because the last thing I want to be is a carrier bringing that back to the house just because I needed to see them when I could have done something on Zoom or FaceTime or something like that.
Right.
So.
COVID has done a lot of things, but it hasn't slowed down real estate.
No,
it really hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to understand this too. It's also the companies that were innovating ahead of time. Guarantee Rate was innovating years ahead. We were already planning for different things that could have been going on for e-closings and everything else, so people didn't have to go into offices.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So those things are happening.
Healthy way to close.
Oh yeah, so just keeping people, keeping their distance and everything else, but not slowing down what we were trying, or what our goals are. I mean, think about it. We doubled our volume during the pandemic. So
that's crazy.
Hey man.
Yeah.
That money talks. It's like you can have an opinion, but these are facts right here.
Yeah, that's
right.
True. That's true.
Right. So, so what's next for you? Like personally or professionally, what's next for you?
Next for me, I'll just stick with professionally. Personally, I don't see too much craziness. Honestly, my wife's on me about getting on a vacation, but that's once we get in a better place and with the pandemic, we'll talk about that.
Right.
But me professionally, it's really finding a way to keep scaling and growing the different parts that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, and making sure that I'm always giving a very positive impact for the guys I'm either working with, or even if it's like a secondary touch where I'm not really working directly with you, but it's going to impact you, in a couple months, that kind of thing. So, and that's drive opportunities and drive revenue to Guaranteed Rate. That's really the opportunities I'm trying to put together for professionally.
I got a question. I mean, you represent Guaranteed Rate, so I can just ask you, why were we chosen for this campaign?
Honestly, I could tell you this for me. When I met you guys the first time when Jared introduced me, I'm a pretty good read on people, and I felt something there. There was something there. You're a hometown, homegrown. You guys were dynamic, like I said earlier. But not just that. I just was like, you know, with the campaign that we were building out, I was like, I talked to some of the leaders here. I said, we got to have these guys be a part of this. And it wasn't even a question. So when I mentioned it, yes, let's figure it out. Let's get it done. And that's the great part about it, is that everybody was thinking the same way. And, you know, I knew it took a little bit while because, you know, we were in the process we at least talking with you guys and going through this and everything. You met with everybody. You guys met with everybody.
We really did.
We
that was a process.
Yeah. So, but it's, you know, for us, you know how we look at it as, you know, you're representing us,
Right.
and we want to make sure on our end the vetting process is what it needs to be. Yes, they're hearing it from me, you know, but I want everybody else to have that same feel, and they did. And you know, going back to what your question is, you know, why? Look in the mirror. That's why.
You're not a mirror?
Every day. Every single day. I mean, the way you guys, you bring this every day. There's no question. You know that you guys are talking about how I bring, you know, my enthusiasm, my excitement for what I do every day. You guys do the same thing. You know, because I've seen you guys come in, fly in from the airport, minutes,
straight here,
and come straight here and still have that fire in your belly.
Hey.
And that's awesome.
Dude,
Not everybody has that.
I'm excited about life, man. I wake up in the morning like, what are we gonna do today? I'm ready for the challenge,
Yes.
and I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I'm always a little bit in the future. Like, what could we be doing now to advance ourselves? You know, so I'm always like, what's next?
But that's to me personally, that's the mentality you have to have, because if you're only thinking about right now at the moment, you're never thinking about the future. You're not figuring out how you can be better or how you can develop different things for the future. That's how I look at it. And that's where my note, every day I'm writing notes like, okay, he's doing this or she's doing this. Great. What about now? What's going on here?
Yeah.
What can I get them from here to here? So it's
I do
a
that
great
too.
mentality. It's a great mentality. It is.
Yeah.
So
And this campaign, believe you will. Believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're listening to this podcast right now, man, believe that you can get where you want to go.
yes.
Because, I mean, all of us right now have different goals for ourselves, both financially or personally, maybe physically with our health or whatever it is. But you got to believe that you can do it.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and that's what I love about this particular campaign. And they chose several different people for this Believe You Will campaign. And all of us have been successful at what we do because we believe.
Oh yeah.
That we, you know, I believe that I can hustle enough to save up enough money, that I can get my credit better. I believe that I can go to the gym every day and eat a good diet so that I can get healthier and do what I need to do. Like, I believe that I can develop good relationships with other people, and I can communicate better than I already am.
Exactly.
Like, but it starts like, do you believe you can do these things? As soon as you believe, then things will start to move. And honestly, I almost feel like a magnet at this point. That's how I feel right now. I feel like a magnet. Like, we're just attracting, you know, positive opportunities, and doors just are flinging open for us right now. So
Man, say that for the people in the back of the room.
Yes.
Because believing in, that's how you start to build your plan.
Yeah.
To be there, able to then execute a plan. It's like, have you ever been in a job and you were doing it just for money and you barely had any money, you know, paycheck after paycheck, but one day you've had enough of that.
Oh yeah.
And that's the day that you start to do the things that you believe are going to get you to where you want to be.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
real thing.
not being content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we could go on and on about believing, but you know, just take some action in your life. Period, man. Be about that action. That's all I got to say about that. Are there any charitable organizations or activities that you want to highlight?
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of crazy. I was had this discussion with my wife last night, and the stuff I've been doing over the last year. Last year, we as a company raised in a couple of days like over $4 million towards Feeding America, and it's like every dollar feeds 10 people or 10 meals, makes 10 meals, and we, you know, so we we had over 40 million meals that were done, off the 4 million.
Right.
So after that, I started, donating to that charity, and hunger is something super important to me. I was addressed with it a couple years back when, I'm in a nice area, nice suburb, and my kids were telling me that friends of theirs were going to school early to get the morning breakfast.
Oh yeah, get that free
and
breakfast.
and the free lunch and everything at lunchtime. But those are the only meals that they ate during the day.
Yeah.
Parents worked and everything else, but they just couldn't afford to put money, put food in the shelf.
Right.
And I'm like, this is a nice area, nice houses and everything else. But when I had that conversation with my kids, and it wasn't just one of my kids, it was all three of them, and said, yeah, I've had friends that had to go and do that because they just can't, there's not enough money coming in. And it messed with me a little bit because being a parent, not only that, but knowing some of the kids that were making those trips in the morning to go get them, I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And for me, I just want to make sure I'm making a big impact when it comes to, that next generation being able to eat and have an environment, a safe environment to have that happen. Because a lot of times, you guys mentioned before, a lot of times, with the parents that are maybe working all the time, it's tough for them to be able to do everything they can for their kids. And but in this case, in my case, I want to I donated to Feeding America, and I'm gonna keep doing.
Is that the website, feedingamerica.com?
Feedingamerica.com, yes. Feedingamerica.com, yes.
All right. So if you guys want to help with hunger, go to feedingamerica.com.
Yes.
All right. So if people want to learn more about what you do and about Guarantee Rate, how can they find you?
Man. Not like I just have a website, because I don't have a website like our loan officers.
You got social media.
I do have
LinkedIn.
social. Yes, I have LinkedIn. CJ
Yeah.
Rose at Guarantee Rate on LinkedIn. I do have Facebook too. And if you need to reach out to me, if you're looking for an opportunity, you're in the industry, you're a producer that looking for a better platform that can increase your business and grow, contact me. I have great opportunities for you to be able to take a look at and see if it is something that could improve your situation. So.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you being on the show. In fact, this probably won't be the last time, because we definitely want to bring you back, because we're going to have some more discussions and some more things that we want answers to.
Absolutely.
So we look forward to having you again.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. As you guys know, nothing but a phone call away. So if you need me, I'm here.
Always. All right. Stick around for Anthony's After Set. Thank you for sticking around for Anthony's After Set. All right. So at the party today, we were talking about acquisitions. So here at the After Set, I got to ask you, what are you acquiring? What is your acquisition? What are you focused on attaining and bringing into your life? Is it health? Is it wealth? Is it being a better communicator? Building relationships? Maybe it's all of the above. But what I want to know is, are you actively taking action through acquiring the things that you want to bring into your life? It's not enough just to listen to this podcast or to watch other people have amazing lives and do amazing things. You have to take action on your life. So, dream about what you want, plan on how you're going to get it, and then execute, which means that you're taking action so that you can make those acquisitions. Don't take my word for it. You see what I'm doing. It's your turn. Thank you for tuning in to Anthony's After Set.
Okay.